What's up, guys? Rick from DFS On Demand here with your betting preview for this week's Wyndham Championship. Keep in mind, I did give a full DFS preview this week. I gave a one and done preview. I have a full hour-long golf betting show that aired Tuesday night on sportsgrid.com. It's also on the Fantasy Network's YouTube page. I'll make sure to link that below. But this is really just like a good opportunity to kind of give like three quick little bets and thoughts now that it's almost time for I almost called it tee off. I don't know what you'd call that. Almost time for lock, where these are the bets that are actually going to be making my card. I'll just go through them very quickly, and I won't take up too much of your time here this morning. So, very quickly, the first guy that I think provides the most value, and this is nothing wrong with Webb Simpson at the top, but seeing him at 9-1 is just too short for my blood. I'm going a little bit deeper to Brandt Snedeker at 22-1. So I locked in this bet already when the odds came out on Monday. I thought it was going to move. It is still there at 22-1, which is a little bit shocking to me. It's the only time in the world where, the defending champion kind of gets a knock on tournaments. A guy who recently won, like Colin Morikawa, kind of gets a knock at certain tournaments. But here's what to like about Brandt Snedeker. Despite the fact that his stats don't necessarily translate to him, he shouldn't play well at the Wyndham Championship, but he absolutely does. Knocks a ton of top five finishes, including a wire-to-wire win last year in which he shot a 59 in the opening round. The really good thing I like about him is I think he's trending in the right direction, and I think there's a lot of upside for Snedeker. So when I say upside, he was the second best player in the field last week at the WGC FedEx St. Jude in terms of tee to green on the weekend. Second best in the field, that star-studded field. And he lost 2.5 strokes putting over the weekend, which is very uncharacteristic for Brandt Snedeker. That's one of his best aspects. So I think there is a lot of ceiling left for him to find if he just regresses back to his normal putting. So that's number one. Then I'll give you a fade, and that fade, unfortunately, again, it has to be Jordan Spieth. To see him still sitting there at, I think he's 14-1. Yeah, 14-1 last time I checked this. For a guy who, we went over this a lot on the DFS video, driving accuracy is, strokes gained off the tee. Your tee shot placement is going to be so critical this week. To ask a guy like Jordan Spieth to pay off at 14-1 is probably not going to happen. There are only two guys in this field with a worse driving accuracy than Jordan Spieth. He loses shots tee to green. He is relying on a historic, kind of almost magical in some senses, short game to bail him out and get him top 20s at these events. He still has not won in over 2 years, so there's very little that I can roster Jordan Spieth for. We talked about this with Phil Mickelson, I think it was last week. If his name was Phil Mickelson, he probably would have been 50-1. Jordan Spieth, kind of the same thing. Should be a lot deeper here. If his name wasn't Jordan Spieth, he wouldn't be sitting there at 14-1. And then what I'll do is I'll show you this new tool that I have on DFS On Demand. So this is the head-to-head matchups tool. So let me pull this up really quickly if you're watching on the video. So this tool is now available on DFS On Demand. It's underneath you can just go to the homepage and find it on the right-hand side. It allows you to compare any two golfers in the field against one another and have it come away with like a true money line and a true win probability over the course of a 4-round tournament. So the one that I'm showing right now, Russ Henley versus Martin Kaymer, is actually pretty interesting. Both players, much better players long term. Have both struggled as of late, but are both trying to turn it around a little bit. Russ Henley finally gained strokes at the John Deere, had a good finish at the Barracuda. Martin Kaymer kind of similarly has not played a lot of measured events recently, especially in terms of strokes gained. but at least played well at the Barracuda, gained strokes at the U.S. Open, gained strokes at the Memorial, which is a much tougher field. So the model gives Keimer a slight edge here. He should be about minus 132. I saw him hovering around the minus 115 mark, depending on where you can get it. So there is a little bit of value to me on the Keimer side over Henley here. And then the other one that I had was I think I saw Joaquin Niemann. Let me see what this was. Oh, Niemann versus Noren. So I'll just change to these guys here, and you'll see, despite Noren kind of turning it around recently, this is the Joaquin Niemann show. Again, I saw these guys kind of even money, like minus 115. I actually think I saw a place where Niemann was minus 125, but even still, the model has him being, he should be about minus 153. It's about 60% to win a matchup with Alex Noren over the course of 4 rounds. So he's going to be the value there. So there's just a quick hitter for you. A couple of what I use this tool for is you can go through and kind of go through each one of the matchups and see where there might be some value. A lot of them are going to end up getting close to the number as is, which is a good sign. That means we are doing a good job with this model if we're hitting the Vegas number quite a bit. So there you go. A couple of quick hitters to get to you if you can run to your book right before this tournament starts. That's what I'm going with. Again, I've got the full DFS preview. I've got the one and done preview. I went on Mayo this week. I've got an hour-long show on Sports Grid. It's been quite the week of content. If you have any, you should not have any questions about currently where I stand on my bets or my lineups. But if you do, you know where to find me. Tweet me. It is at RickRunGood, or leave a comment below. I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.